What is up, e-commerce friends? We are talking all about Q4 today. I am live on Facebook and on YouTube and on the page and in the group and on Instagram over here. So we're going to be talking, like I said, about Q4. I want to, if you're here, let me know in the comments. I should probably go check and make sure I'm actually in the group, because the last time I went live, I wasn't even in the group. Instagram, welcome everyone. Can you guys let me know if you can hear me and that my air conditioner is not super obnoxious in the background? Appreciate you. So I'm not sure if you listened to this week's podcast episode, but I did replay my most popular episode from Q4 last year, which was all about having smooth operations during the holiday season. So if you have any questions about that, please do. Thank you letting me know that you can hear. Awesome. Good, because it's hot here today. If you have any questions about that, please do drop them in the comments. And then, of course, if you're stuck like on your Q4 planning and you haven't gotten it all figured out yet, please do let me know, because it's almost November 1st, which means you should have this all complete already. I haven't been live on Instagram in a while. I have a better setup now, so it's easier for me to do both, which is very exciting. So I did have some questions that were posted in the e-commerce badassery Facebook group, so I'm definitely going to make sure that I start by answering those. And let me just double check that I'm in the group. Where's everybody watching me from? Yeah, see, it doesn't look like I'm in the group. I don't understand why. Instagram, just hold on for me for 1 second. That I don't know why this isn't showing in the group. That's a problemo. Let me see if is it like in the event? I can't figure out why, guys. Technology. I feel like it can never go off without a hitch. You know what I'm saying? So this happened to me once before. I don't remember how I fixed it last time, so I'm just going to share this from my Facebook page into the group, because that's where my people are, and they're probably waiting for me. So let's get this shared. And of course, it is shared to a group. What's up, friends? Appreciate you getting it together. And of course, just, you know, there we go. I'm using StreamYard, so I wonder if it's a permissions issue. Oh, you do see me there? So weird. All right, thank you. Now it'll just be in there twice, and it was last time too. But you know, what are you gonna do? This and every time, yes, thank you for letting me know on Facebook. Every time I go live and I have technical difficulties, I tell you guys, like, don't worry about things just like going all wrong when you are going live, because it happens to the best of us, and your audience will be very forgiving of you. So don't worry about it. All right. So raise your hand, or I guess really better is tell me in the comments if you've like got Q4 nailed down, you know what you're doing, you're super excited. Let me know. And then instead, if you're like, oh, I'm not even close and I'm struggling, let me know that too, so that we can support you today. And if you are watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay, friends. So first, I'm going to start with the question that was submitted, because this is going to be great for everyone. And that is, someone had sent out an email for a sale that she had, and she had a 3-day sale, and she wanted to resend it to people, but she wasn't totally sure how to go about that. But she feels like had she have sent more emails about this sale, she probably would have made money. And this is probably true. And she felt like, I think I know what I'm supposed to do, but I just wasn't really confident. And so she was afraid to do it. So I'm going to explain that right here. And this was really going to be important all throughout Q4, right? So one of the things that we have to remember is that iOS 15, which I haven't upgraded to, it's weird because I don't know if this is happening for everyone, but your phone is not automatically updating to iOS 15. It's just saying, hey, it's giving you a little window on the bottom. Hey, do you want to upgrade to iOS 15? I'm personally waiting because I know that there's always glitches and stuff in the first version of anything. And I really don't want my phone to get messed up right now. So I'm holding off, but a lot of people have already upgraded. And what that means, and I did talk about this on the podcast and I've talked about it before, but I have a little bit more clarity on what it actually means now. So what's happening is iOS 15, so people who use the Mail app on their iPhones, right, it's going to remove that tracking code, which tells you when someone opens it. And it's also what gives you their IP address to tell you where they're located, right? So that's how it's able to make those location-based segments. Because of the technology that Apple is using to do this, what it's actually going to make it look like more emails were opened than people actually opened them. Does that make sense? So it's going to inflate your open rate. So in the past, you've always heard me talk about resend to the people who didn't open your emails. And now if you were to make a segment of people who didn't open, it may be incorrect because your email platform thinks it opened an email when it didn't. Yes, Matthew, go ahead and pop your question in the comments and we'll get to it today. So in that case, what I want you to do instead is focus on the people who did or didn't click, because your click tracking has not been impacted by iOS 15. So you don't have to worry about that. That is still accurate. So when you set up that resend segment, essentially, and this is for Klaviyo users, this is how I set it up, right? So I've got the first email that's going to my engaged list or my entire email list. And then I'm going to create a segment of people who have clicked that email. The next time I send the email, I'm still going to send it to my engaged 90 days or my entire list, whoever it is that I'm sending it to. But then I'm going to exclude the people who clicked it already. So this way, you don't have to create a segment of okay, they received this email, but they didn't click it and then send to that segment. You can just exclude the people you don't want to get to the second email, which it ends up being less work and it's a little bit easier to implement. So that's how you can do those resends inside of Klaviyo, and I'm sure it works the same in any email platform that you use. I know a lot of email platforms kind of had a built-in auto send to people who didn't open, which may or may not work quite as well now unless they change it to say people who did or did not click. The difference now versus then is I would say, okay, just send the exact same email, right? But change the subject line because they didn't open it, so they didn't see what was inside. But in this case, it's possible that they did see what was inside. So you're going to want to tweak that content inside your email a little bit too. So maybe you're just, changing out the header photo or you're changing the copy a little bit. You don't have to reinvent the whole thing. Just make it different so it doesn't feel like you just sent the same exact email. So that question was from JJ. If you're watching this live or if you're watching the replay, let me know if that explains it or if you need more direction around that. So I want to make sure we get to that. On Instagram, I do not have it together because I just got product in. That's okay. You know what? You can still talk about your products and share your products and give sneak peeks, even if they're not ready to be purchased on your website yet, right? that's actually a good thing. Well, not the fact that you just got it in, but teasing it is a good thing because you can get people really excited about what's to come. So don't hide in the back like, oh, I don't have products, I can't do anything, right? You still want to be out there talking about it, sharing, getting people excited. Maybe you create a wait list. Oh, good, you sent a backstage pic. Perfect. Maybe you want to do pre-orders, or you'll just have people kind of sign up for a back in stock notification, something like that, to kind of get them on that email list and say, hey, like, I want to know more about this. And what's really amazing is when you get people to opt in like that, you can email them more because they've opted in to say, yes, I want to hear about this thing, right? And you can email them more without worrying about like fatiguing them. So that's really exciting. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. We're talking Q4. So if you have questions, go ahead and pop them in the comments here for you. That's why we're doing this. But then I also just want to kind of touch on a few things that I talked about on this week's podcast, which was really setting yourself up for success in Q4, right? And part of setting yourself up for success is giving yourself a little grace. So any of you guys who have been following me for a while, you know that I basically have been MIA for the last 2 weeks as I've been going through the process of trying to buy a home here in Los Angeles, which is, if you've been paying attention to the news, is a total shit show. We're almost to the finish end. So like, fingers crossed, but it really took me out of my business, and I had very little mental capacity to do anything other than serve my existing clients who are working with me right now and like paying me money, right? And just kind of keeping the lights on. But I really wasn't on social. I wasn't doing live videos. Now for Q4, for you and your e-com business, it's kind of going to be the opposite, right? Like I had all this stuff going on in my life that I needed to pay attention to. But as an e-commerce business in Q4, it might be your life that kind of suffers a little bit. So what I talk about is like, maybe the laundry's going to pile up, the dishes are going to pile up, maybe anyone else in your household is going to kind of have to pick up some of your slack, right? So make sure you guys are kind of having those conversations and you're planning ahead, and it's okay. It's just a season. You'll get back to normal soon. It's not going to be forever. So just kind of figure out what you can tolerate at home and just like let those things wait. It's okay. If you can't tolerate it, but you also don't have the time, just pay someone else to do it, right? I don't have like a regular cleaning person, but every few months I just like bring in a crew and they do like a big deep cleaning, like all the getting behind everything. And it's like the greatest thing in the world today. That's probably the first thing that I like outsource when I'm, making all the monies. But if you have to do that during this time, do that. It's an investment in your business, in your home, in your sanity. It is priceless. So definitely think about that. I also talk about end of day procedures, which this is like such a small, silly thing, but it makes such a huge impact. And I was always like, all the years I worked in retail, even, all my time in e-commerce, like I always had these very specific end of day procedures. And if you've ever worked in a restaurant or, like a server who works in a restaurant, like every day, every shift, right? Each server, the hostess, like everyone has side work to do. And that is things like, filling up the ketchup jars and the salt and the pepper and putting together utensils and stuff like that. Like that side work is there to set up the next group of people for their shift, right? And then at the end of the night, you're setting everyone up for the next day. So you can do the same thing in your e-commerce business. And what that looks like is going to be a little bit different for you, depending on, your business. So maybe you're putting boxes together the night before, or you're, my most important thing is like create your to-do list for the next day at the end of this day. Really important. So that, because by the time like you restart the day, you're going to be like, wait, what was I working on? I don't remember. So just create that list the next day. empty out your garbages, even if they're not full, so you don't have to stop in the middle of the day when you're like fulfilling and everything. And here's a really dumb thing, and I do this at home too, but I always leave empty trash, like unused trash bags in the bottom of the trash, and I put the new bag over that. So I don't have to go digging for the box. Where are the trash bags? I take one out, I just pull the new one out. Stupid little thing, but I feel like it saves me so much time and stress and anxiety trying to find stuff. So those are the types of things I want you to start thinking about and planning for, especially when you go into the Cyber 5 and then those last few days before shipping cutoff, which is traditionally December 14th. But let's talk about that, because raise your hand if you are concerned about supply chain and shipping this holiday, because I am 100%. I think that there's going to be shipping delays just like they were last year. I know that for the most part, in terms of getting it from warehouse to customer, has been much, much better than it was last year. We're obviously still having trouble getting items in, right, actually to the manufacturer or the shipping place initially, because all the boats are sitting in the Pacific over here. And we, come Q4, come the holiday, like people have higher expectations. So if you think it's a concern, just cut off your shipping earlier. Just cut it off earlier. Like I said, traditionally it's December 14th, but maybe you want to do it the week before. That doesn't mean you don't keep shipping. It just means you don't give any sort of like guarantees or anything like that. And you can promote up to, say, December 7th. Right? Like, hey, prepare for shipping delays. Make sure you're reminding your customers. Ran into envelope and packaging shortage. Yes. See, it's already happening. And a lot of times what's actually happening too is like, and this was a while ago and this may not be the case anymore, but I remember kind of like at the height of COVID, my mom knows someone who creates like cleaning wipes, right? Like he does disinfecting wipes and makeup remover wipes and all of that stuff, but he couldn't get the base wipe, right? And I know people who kind of print on blank tees and stuff, but they can't get the blank tees. So these are all things that we kind of have to prepare for and have kind of a backup plan for as well. So I want you to just kind of think about what are those items that maybe you have in stock, are really easy to get. Maybe you need to give them more attention than you initially planned because you have those. And keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening and be reactive if you have to. Like, we want to be as proactive as possible, but like, we don't know everything. We can't foresee everything. So we just want to make sure that we're kind of keeping our eye on what's going on. And hey, if you sell out of all of the good stuff, like before your shipping cutoff, then like you did good, right? That's kind of the goal anyway. So celebrate that if that happens for you. Don't be afraid of that. Amazing. Also, okay, I'm going to move on. I want to talk about some other things, but if you are hopping in a little late or you think of a question related to Q4, please don't hesitate to put it in the comments. I will come back to that for sure. And then Matthew, if you're still here, I didn't see a question from you, but go ahead and drop it in if you're still here, and I'll make sure to get it answered for you. So I posted about this. Was it my post today? I mean, am I really 100% back yet? I think I'm still a little bit distracted. But Klaviyo released a new email builder. Like, how exciting is that? Hey, I'm super excited. Now, it's not as pretty as Flowdesk. It's just not going to be. But there's like three main features of the new email builder that I'm super, super excited about, and is going to make creating emails so much easier. So the first one is now you can put background images on text blocks. So instead of having to go into Canva, create an image, and like put your text over it, now you can do that right in the email builder. And I tested it. I've been playing around with it, and it looks amazing. I love it. You're not going to get all like the same cool layouts that you get in, say, a Flow Desk, but if you just need a simple photo with text on it, like, you're good. Also, you can now create sections and save the whole section. So if maybe you have a footer, right, that you kind of save like 4 individual blocks in or something, and now when you go create a new email, like, you got to drag in all 4. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just save the whole section, which is super cool. I'm going to save so much time because I build a lot of stuff that way. And then my other favorite feature is universal blocks, which they announced, I think it was at their event at the beginning of 2020. So been waiting for this for a while. It's finally coming, going to be released in a few weeks, where it's not available yet. But what'll happen is you can have like a header and a footer, for instance, that you save as a universal block. And then you have that in think of all of your flow emails, right? You got 3 to 5 emails in every single one of your flows. And if you want to change something or you update your logo, like, you have to go through all of those and update them. Not anymore. Now they're going to have universal blocks. So you change it in one place and it updates in all of your emails. What I'm not sure about is exactly how it's going to get implemented, like if your existing block can turn into a universal block, or if you'll have to go put the universal block in all of your emails. I don't know yet, but let's stay tuned to find out. They said a couple of weeks. I'm starting to get it together again now that my daughter's wedding has passed. Yay, I hope you guys had an amazing time and you were able to just like let go and focus on your daughter's wedding. That's awesome. Since my time is limited now, I am leaning into focusing on my 2 in-person holiday boutiques. And I think that is the perfect answer for you. You're still new, you're building, you're still building your traffic, and you might as well put your energy to where you know that you're going to have eyeballs on your stuff. So I think that is the perfect answer for you. What platform? Klaviyo. I am talking about the Klaviyo platform. They just announced yesterday new updates to their email builder and a couple of other updates, which you can find in my feed I posted about today. And they actually have a whole video that you can go watch as well. It's posted in the Facebook group. And I wrote it out. It's klaviyo.com/product-event. Yes, huge fan. Me too. I'm their biggest fan. It's really funny. Every time I do a guest podcast episode, right? I talk about it so much, and then like the other host will ask me, I don't know if she's sponsored by Klaviyo, but this episode is not. And I'm like, I'm not sponsored either. But if you're listening, Klaviyo, just saying, I truly am your biggest fan. Awesome. Yay. Wow, that was like a really fast 25 minutes. I usually like to keep these to 30 minutes. I know we have a lot of new faces on Instagram, so welcome. My name's Jessica. Pleasure to meet you. If you still have questions about Q4 that come up, we still have time. Go ahead, if you're watching the replay, drop them in the comments and I will come back and answer them. I've got some great podcast episodes you can listen to. 72 through 74 is my holiday planning structure, how I used to plan every big campaign in my business. And the holiday planning guide and content prompts are still for sale, but they are going to be going in the vault soon, probably like the first week of November. So that's at ecommercebadassery.com/holiday. You can snag those and you get, lifetime of the product access. So I'm going to be updating them each year and you'll automatically get that. So they're super cheap right now. So you should totes just go get them now. Everyone in the Facebook group is loving them. Thank you all for supporting me and grabbing that. I hope that you are loving it. Sweet. Okay, if you don't have any other questions right now, I'm going to let you guys get back to your day. So you can, depending upon where you are, it might be time for you to end the day, or maybe you got to go do some Q4 prep. Yes, Ron Grubb, you do have that. I hope you're loving it, girl. What was I going to say? Yes, but I am back on my regularly scheduled weekly lives. And now that I have a much better setup, I should be on Instagram each week too. unless I'm like screen sharing something, because it's really hard to do on Instagram. So if you're not already in the e-commerce badassery Facebook group, come on over, hang with us there. Am I forgetting anything? I think that's everything. So thank you guys so much for spending your time with me today. I appreciate you. Podcast will keep, publishing as scheduled. 3 really amazing guests for the next few weeks. I usually try and spread my guests out, but these were all so good that I was like, I'm just going to post them all at the same time. So it'll be a while before you hear a solo one. I'm still working through the materials of the Q4 planner. Best of luck with the house stuff. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's in an HOA. So we're waiting for the HOA docs just to make sure like they're not totally mismanaging all the money and going to screw us over. So fingers crossed there. And then we should be good. Thank you again, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will talk to you all soon. Bye, friends.